foothold, stronghold on India were the Portuguese. The competition was between the Portuguese, the Dutch, the French, and the English. I hope you are understanding the chapter and listen carefully. Now, the British had enough of stronghold on Indian soil. The trade was strong, and with maintaining army, here there is a list of European settlers. In the book you can see other European settlers in India, the European settlers, and where did they settle. It was there. It is here mentioned in the book. Now, after having a stronghold on the Indian soil, Britishers began to do mischief. They wanted to become the rulers of the land. They just imagine that small provinces are so rich. How rich is this whole country? How rich is this whole territory, India? They wanted to become the master of the country. And they started to do mischief plans. They started to find the weak points of the king. And they found that who is against the king. Sometimes the nephew wants to become the king, and other one has become the king, and there is resentment with the nephew and this one. And just they found that who is the king, what is his weak point, and who are against the king. And then they started to play mischief, and they started to use such persons against the king. There is a place in Bengal known as Plassey, and the famous Battle of Plassey, named after that place, was a battle occurred there in the year 1757. Now, what is this Battle of Plassey? So let us read about Battle of Plassey. Battle of in 1757. So, in 1757, after the death of Aurangzeb was the Mughal ruler, and he was the son of Shah Jahan, the Mughal Empire started to grow weak. It's not like that suppose someone is a king and his son ascended the throne and he will be also mighty. Some kings are weaker also. They are having nice, they enjoy only, have recreations, they see the dance and they just enjoy, and they just don't bother any state affairs. They don't look after the province and nothing. So then after Aurangzeb, the Mughal Empire started to grow weaker. Taking this advantage, British, they were just waiting for the right opportunity, that as soon as they'll find some weaker point, they will just grab it. And taking this as an advantage, the East India Company decided to exploit Bengal, which was a very rich state then. Sirajud-Dowla, the Nawab of Bengal, disliked the entry of Britishers. So Bengal was a rich state. Each and every province in India was rich state, well maintained, nice, everything. And the then Nawab, it was under Nawab Sirajud-Dowla, and they tried to grab the power of Bengal. They tried to capture Bengal. But Sirajud-Dowla was also a very clever man. He understood the plans of British people. He understood, and he disliked. The English were checked for maintaining an army and misusing the power. Sirajud-Dowla just inquired, when this is our land, you have come here as traders. Why are you maintaining an army? And then he also questioned them for misusing power. You have to just trade. Why you are misusing our people, misbehaving with our subjects? Powers by the Nawab of Bengal, Sirajud-Dowla. Bengal, being the richest province, was the center of activity. It was a business center because it was on the seashore, Bay of Bengal, and it was nicely connected with ports. So Bengal was a very rich hub of business activity, center of activity. The Nawab of Bengal declared war against East India Company in 1757. in 1757, which we have mentioned here, the Nawab of Bengal, Siraj-ud-Daulah, he declared a war. But the company's colonel, Robert Clive, had already hatched a conspiracy with the help of Mir Jafar, the Nawab's commander-in-chief. The main general, the commander-in-chief of Nawab, Siraj-ud-Daulah, he became the traitor. He went against the Nawab, Siraj-ud-Daulah, and he joined hands with the British, and then Mir Jafar's betrayal led to the Nawab's defeat in the Battle of Plassey. There was a fierce battle of Plassey there, and then in that Plassey, because his own, Siraj-ud-Daulah did not know, his own commander-in-chief or his own general is in alliance with the British, and he was defeated. This victory paved the way for eventual British conquest in India.
The company's naval fleet was also sent. Robert Clive defeated Nawab Siraj-ud-Daulah at a place called Palashi in 1757 in the famous Battle of Plassey.
Next, an important turning point in Indian history was the Battle of Buxar, which happened in 1764. Battle of Buxar, which happened in 1764. Buxar is a place somewhere in Bihar, and Bihar-UP border it is there. The Battle of Buxar was fought by the combined forces of Mir Qasim, Nawab of Bengal. After Siraj-ud-Daulah, when Battle of Buxar happened, then the Nawab of Bengal was Mir Qasim. So Battle of Buxar, by the time the British, they had made India just their playground. Anything they wished, they snatched it. They were torturing the peasants, farmers, the artisans, the craftsmen. They were just plundering India. Just with two hands they were looting India. And the Battle of Buxar was fought by the combined forces. Now, earlier, only Siraj-ud-Daulah, the Nawab of Bengal, he was fighting against the British. Now, many rulers, they understood that it is not the work of one person, any one king cannot defeat them. So now they made an alliance, a team. The Battle of Buxar was fought by the combined forces of Mir Qasim, the Nawab of Bengal, Shuja-ud-Daulah, Nawab of Awadh, Awadh is in UP, till date it is there, and the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II against the East India Company, which was led by Hector Munro. Hector Munro was the leader of the British team, British army at that time, and these three, the Nawab Mir Qasim, Shuja-ud-Daulah and Emperor Shah Alam, and their forces combinedly, now they were face to face in the battlefield of Buxar. The East India Company won the battle and thus became the real master of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. Thus the foundation of imperialism in India was laid by East India Company. The army of these three forces, they got defeated, and the English army led by Hector Munro, they won, and finally the imperialism means queen who is ruling in England. They started that these three provinces was now under the queen. Now it was under the queen's possession. This was imperial colonies. And this was the region which was attained by the queen. Next, how did East India Company expand and what were its policies? How did East India Company expand in India? Expansion of East India Company in India and its policies. I hope you all are understanding, and if any queries or any questions, please do post in this group. I'll clarify your doubts, and we will be having an interactive class where you can ask your questions direct. We will be discussing the question answers, everything directly face to face. So, after the Battle of Plassey and Buxar, the East India Company was now ready to acquire more territories in India. Now the British became hungry to conquer India. Now they thought that their way to conquer India was clear. Now they became powerful in India. The company used several methods to annex the British territory. They used several laws, they used several techniques. Anyhow, they wanted to annex, they wanted to acquire different kingdoms, different provinces of India. They just wanted to include other provinces hook or by crook to their power. The subsidiary alliance was introduced by Lord Wellesley. The subsidiary alliance was introduced by Lord Wellesley. Now, what is subsidiary alliance? Means partner in ruling. If you are the king, I will be your partner in ruling. Was introduced by Lord Wellesley. What were the clauses of this subsidiary alliance? What were the terms and conditions, guidelines of this subsidiary alliance? Under this policy, now to become the partner, suppose a province is there, just you say it, Maharashtra, and they want to become the partner of the Maharashtra ruler. What all policies were there? An Indian ruler cannot maintain an independent army. The British can come from foreign to do trade. They can maintain an army in a foreign land. But the Indian kings cannot maintain their army. This was the first clause, first rule. They cannot maintain their army, personal army. Next, to fight with any other state, they would need to take permission of British. It is very amazing, na? To fight with other province, or to if someone is invading or someone is attacking them, so to retaliate or to attack to them, they have to come and they have to take the permission of the British authorities who are imperialist, who represent the Queen in India. They have to take the permission. They would be protected by British, but would need to pay for the protection. Like that, you must have heard in films and all that the mafia dons and all, they take hafta and all for protection. Now they told that we'll protect you. If someone is attacking you, someone is invading your territory, we'll give you protection. Our army will go and protect you, but you have to pay tax. You have to pay a fees for that protection money. A part of the kingdom was annexed if they failed to pay the amount. In any case, the king failed to pay the amount due to some reason, due to famine or due to flood. The king could not gather the revenues and could not pay to the British. Then they can annex the part of the kingdom. They can include the part of the kingdom to British territory. They can include their region under Queen's rule. The Indian ruler had to employ only Britishers. All the office works have to be done by Britishers. The Indian rulers, they have to employ the Britishers. That means you come to our house. I just imagine the foreigners came to our country. They became our masters, and they will employ their people in our offices, and we don't have any ownership to our own territory, our own region, our own treasure. They will keep a record of our everything. Just unimaginable to think. The doctrine of lapse was introduced by Lord Dalhousie.